Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. Today I want to talk about an absolutely phenomenal episode of Side Hustle, which is called Prank You Very Much. I previously recorded a very long unscripted version of this. However, I found myself having a lot of awkward pauses and saying and like too much, so I decided to redo this video with a script and writing my thoughts out, more of my thoughts out on a script so that way my thoughts can be more precise. If you want to see the longer and unscripted version, it is posted on my channel, but I think these reviews come out better if I use a script. Anyways, here are a few notes before we get started. 1, this video will be more like a podcast. There will not be anything on the screen. At least not anything much on the screen, so feel free to listen to this while you do something else. 2, I am still new to the voiceover videos, so let me know if there's anything I can do to improve. Also, let me know if the background music is distracting. I thought that the video with just my voice would be boring, so I thought I would add some music to make it a little bit more enjoyable. However, if it is distracting, then I'll do the future videos without the music. Also, I just wanted to warn you that this video will contain spoilers. If you don't want spoilers, then I highly recommend you watch the episode before listening to this. Finally, these are all just my subjective opinions. You are free to have your own opinions as well, so please let me know what you think down below. I really wish more people were talking about this show, which is why I've started to make these reviews. I want to start a discussion about what I think is an incredible show, so don't hesitate to say what you think. With that out the way, let's get into the video. This is a section of the video I like to call Too Long Didn't Listen, which is inspired by the phrase too long didn't read. This is where I will give my very brief opinion of the episode before getting into all the details. I thought this episode was absolutely incredible. I truly think it is one of the best Side Hustle episodes ever, whether we are talking about season 1 or season 2. Everything about this episode was amazing. The humor was outstanding in this episode. Seriously, there are so many funny, quotable things throughout this whole episode. There's also the incredible aspect of the story where Lex, Presley, and Munchie are so dedicated to fixing their friendship with Ty. I also believe every character stood out in this episode. And finally, this episode was just so fun. If you seriously need something to make you smile, this episode is it. That's one of the reasons why that it is either my second or third favorite episode of season 2, and it's probably in my top 5 of favorite Side Hustle episodes ever, regardless of what season it's in. The writing in this episode is amazing, and I highly recommend that this be one of the first Side Hustle episodes you watch if you don't already watch the show. Now I will give a simple summary of what happens in the episode. Jagged is trying to sell his Jagjitsu power shakes, which are really just milkshakes. Knowing that he is competing with the micromuri, he tells Lex, Presley, and Munchie to give a present to Ty as a way to show that there are no hard feelings. Even more so, he tells them that if they do that, they won't have to worry about their dune buggy payment for the week. Intrigued by not having to worry about a payment this week, they decide to bring the package to Ty. Unknown to them, Ty is being pranked by someone. He later tells them that the person pranking him is Jagged, so that he can drive Ty out of business and people will have to buy his power shakes instead. The 3 realize that they had been tricked by Jagged, but by the time they did, it was too late and Ty had already opened the package that Jagged told the 3 to give him. Turns out it was a prank that ended up covering Ty in slime. Ty is deeply upset about this since he had trusted them and felt betrayed by them for what had happened. In order to make it up to Ty, despite Ty telling them not to get involved, they try to talk to Jagged, but Jagged won't listen, so they decide to prank Jagged back as a way to make things right. They decide to put Jagged's Jag Cycle, a blender bike he uses to make his power shakes, way on top of the Altunisberg Space Needle, using one of Fisher's special drones that can carry 100 times their weight. However, the prank turns into a rescue mission after Munchie gets stuck on the bike while Ronald lifts it up with the drone and he ends up on the Space Needle. Fisher and Ronald fight over the drone, causing the drone to break. That was Fisher's only way to get Munchie down, so now Presley and Lex have to rely on Ty and his air balloon. They visit Ty at night and truly apologize for what they did. He forgives them and allows them to use his hot air balloon to rescue Munchie. At the end of the episode, Jagged demands the 3 give him his bike. The 3 pull another prank and manage to distract Jagged long enough to attach him to the drone and fly him all the way on top of the Space Needle. So now on to my favorite now on to my favorite moments. So there were a lot of favorite moments in this episode, and a lot of them are based around the comedy gold that is in this episode. So basically, one of the first things that is really funny is that, so basically Fisher has like Lex Presley and Munchie and Ty in this drone flying school, and the thing is that actually Lex Presley and Lex Presley and Munchie are just there for the snacks. And so Fisher does a demonstration with the drone where the drone can lift up the box of donuts and gives it to them. But the minute they get the donuts, they start to leave, and that's when Fisher is like, "Where are you going?" And then Lex is like, "To eat our donuts." And Fisher is like, "Well, what about drone flying school?" And that's when Presley said, "Yeah, well, we were never going to do that." And then Munchie was like, "Yeah, we saw it more as free donut school." Now, I do feel a little bit bad for Fisher in that moment, like the fact that like now basically the only student he has is Ronald. And so I honestly, though, I would have actually liked to try to learn how to fly one of those drones like that. Like, I think it would be really cool, especially to learn from someone that is just so smart like Fisher is. Like, I would have loved to be in drone flying school. Like, actually, I usually don't care about drones, actually. Like, in real life, normally I don't care about drones. But honestly, Fisher's drones are like way cooler than regular drones. So, yeah. Okay. But anyway, so yeah, there's another moment that's really funny when, they realize that like they get a Kading and it turns out to actually be from Jagged, and then that's when Lex is like, "Well, why would your brother hire us to do a job when we're only doing jobs to pay him back?" And then Munchie was like, "Why does he eat the cone and throw away the ice cream? He's Jagged." That's true. That is so true. It's like, yeah, that's just who Jagged is. You really can't explain why Jagged is the way he is. It's just Jagged is Jagged. Okay. And so there's the moment when they go and see what he wants, and they see him like riding that Jag cycle, which is that blender bike that makes the power shakes. And that's when Presley is like, "Well, what are you doing?" And Jagged is like, "Oh, I'm sure you like to know." And then he's like, after that he's like, "Which is exactly what I'm gonna tell you." Oh man, Jagged was so funny in this episode. Like, again, in this episode, like, of course we are mad at Jagged in this episode for almost ruining Lex Presley and Munchie's friendship with Ty, right? And like, he really shouldn't be messing with Ty like that. So we're still mad at Jagged, but at the same time he's making us laugh so much, and it's just, yeah. And so he lets them try a sample of his power shakes. And then Presley was like, "This tastes like a milkshake." And then Jagged's like, "It's totally different. It's a Jagjitsu power shake." And then Lex is like, "Well, what makes it different?" And then Jagged says, "Me calling it a Jagjitsu power shake." Oh, yeah. Yeah, but actually, though, when you really think about it, sometimes, like, I think there's actually, like, I think that's what some people actually try to do, is like, they don't really, like, I think that's what people do when they're trying to like clearly rip somebody off, like, or trying to like rip something, like, I don't know if that's the right term to use, like, basically when someone is just trying to like blatantly copy what someone else does, the only thing that they do is like, they only try to like change the name, like, and so it's like, it's like they try to act like, "Oh, this is totally different. Like, this is a totally different product." But like, the only thing we did is like, we just gave it a catchier name or something. Yeah. But anyway, there's another moment where like, where Munchie actually brings it up to Jagged, which is like, if you're selling milkshakes here, won't you be competing against Ty in the microbrewery? And then that's when Jagged is like, "Yes, and I don't want to hurt the milkman's feelings." That's why I'm hiring you to bring him a gift of friendship. And I'm just like, how did they fall for that? Because, like, again, if Jagged is being nice, it's a huge red flag. You can't trust him. Okay, since when does Jagged care about anyone's feelings? He really does not care. Okay? Like, so yeah. And then that's when Jagged tells him that if they do this, it'll count as their Dune Buggy payment for the week. And of course, Lex at first is actually like, you know, being the reasonable one. She actually kind of senses something a little weird about that, and she's like, really, that seems too easy. And of course Presley tells her that, well, haven't you heard the saying that if something sounds too good to be true, then it's a good deal? And then Munchie is like, I haven't heard that, but it does sound like something someone would say. And it's like, oh my goodness, like, it's just too funny. Like, it actually, in a way, I could imagine someone saying that, but really it's like, no, if something is too good to be true, it's too good to be true. Like, that's the whole point, you know? But anyway, yeah, so anyway, they decide to go ahead and give the package to Ty, and that's when Ty is, you know, trying to clean the sign. And that's when they ask him what's he doing, and then Ty explains that someone pranked me and changed the sign from Micro Mooery to Micro Pooery. And then the three of them laugh so hard, and then that's when Ty glares at them, and Presley is like, I mean, that's terrible and definitely not hilarious. Which like I said in the other in the longer version of this review, I said yeah, I'm totally gonna use that whenever I want to laugh at something that I know I maybe shouldn't laugh at. I'm just gonna say that, yeah, that's terrible and definitely not hilarious. So yeah, and then also Ty continues to tell him, like, he did it to a bunch of signs, including the one on my hot air balloon. And Munchie is like, oh no, that sounds awful, and can we see it? Munchie is always so funny, like oh my goodness. But yeah, and then after Ty opens the package and it turns out to be the prank, and they can't stop him from opening the package, and, you know, that's when they tell him, like, Presley is like, we are so sorry, and Lex is like, so sorry, and Munchie is like, so sorry, and Presley is like, so, and then Ty cuts her off, like, I get it. And then Presley is like, good, because I completely lost count of the so's. Like, and then, you know, then they try to, like, almost defend themselves and say, well, hey, like, Presley was like, hey, well, Jagged tricked us, so in a way, we're the real victims here. And then Ty was, told them that, like, yeah, well, you're not the ones covered in slime. But, like, seriously, Ty's got a point. They are not really the victims in this, because Ty is the one that is really suffering from Jagged's pranks. Yeah, and then that's when they say, like, Lex is like, we feel awful, and then Presley is like, yeah, we're gonna give Jagged a piece of our minds, and that's when Ty tells him, like, please don't. Jagged is too unpredictable. I once saw him eat the cone and throw away the ice cream. And Munchie is like, right? Yeah, that's pretty weird to do that, to just, yeah, like, yeah, you gotta be careful. Like, if someone, basically, you know what, if you see someone just eating the cone and throwing away the ice cream, then you might want to just, like, keep your distance. Because they might be like Jagged, who knows. But yeah. But anyway, so there's another funny part, and this is later on in the episode, where basically Alan, who is Presley and Fisher's dad, he's buying one of the power shakes, and he's asking Jagged, like, so you're saying in order to get completely jacked, I don't need to worry about diet or exercise? And Jagged is like, that's right. Which I'm wondering if, like, that's right is, like, actually becoming Jagged's new catchphrase, considering that, like, he says that a lot these days. because Jagged is like that character. He has a lot of catchphrases, you know, like his jagged in, jagged out. He says false, you know, and then he also sometimes says sounds stupid, like whenever he hears something that he thinks is, well, stupid. So yeah. But anyway, that's so funny, that joke, because it's like, that's what all the weight loss products say. You know, they all say like, oh yeah, like, you don't have to worry about diet or exercise, just use our product. But like, that's never true. Like, you need to exercise and you need to watch what you eat if you actually want to lose weight or you want to have muscles or whatever. So yeah. And then in the next moment, Alan is like asking him again, like, so all I have to do is drink these milkshakes? And Jagged is like, they're not milkshakes, they're Jagjitsu power shakes. And I'm starting to question if you're worthy of them. And then he tries to take the shake away from him, and Alan like panics, and it's like, and Alan's like, oh, I am worthy, I swear, I'm worthy. And then Jagged is like, prove it, get on the Jag cycle and make a power shake. And I just can't believe he actually convinced Alan to do his job for him. Like, it's just, wow. Yeah, you know, Jagged and Alan don't interact that much, but when they do, they have like this really interesting dynamic, and it's just funny because I feel like that, like, no offense to Alan, but he's really gullible, and so I think that it's just so easy for Jagged to like, it's so easy for Jagged to just like push him around, and it's just it's just funny. So anyway, so yeah, then another part in the episode, they like Presley and Lex and Munchie, they go to Jagged to try and like, you know, to get him to stop messing with Ty, and it's like, and then so it's such a funny moment. So Presley tells Jagged like, we need a word with you right now, and then Jagged is like, here's a word, shut up. Like, again, like, I know that was like so rude, and I know that was like so rude, but at the same time it was just kind of funny. So and then that's when Presley continues, like, I cannot believe you made us prank our friend Ty. And Lex tells him like, yeah, the package you delivered exploded slime all over him. And then that's when Jagged is like, now this is important, I need to know, did he cry? And when I first heard that, I was just like, I almost couldn't believe it myself, because like I saw like in the scene, like Lex had turned to Munchie and her mouth was just like open wide, and her mouth was just like wide open in shock, and she was like she couldn't believe that he said that, and I couldn't believe it either. And I was like, what? I tell you what, like I do, like, of course, you know, like I think just Jagged's really savage moments are kind of funny, like, even though, yes, again, it's kind of rude, but like it's just still funny to just like when he I don't know, like, but like, wow. And I think the thing that made it so funny was like I wasn't expecting him to say that, like, for whatever reason. Like, I just like, it was just like, because like the way he started he started his response, he was saying like, now this is important, I need to know. Like, you didn't know what he was gonna say next, because it's just like he all of a sudden sounded like he was like being serious about something, and then right after that he just throws it out there, like, you know, did he cry? And just like oh man. Anyway, so that's when Munchie questions him about why he's doing that, why he's just messing with Ty. And then so Jagged informs him, like, everyone knows that the best way to launch a product is to use a prank war to drive your competition out of business. And that's what he said, that's why I'm messing with Pie. And then Lex says his name is Ty and not Pie, and Jagged is like, I know, my next prank is convincing everybody his name is Pie. Wow. Like, and then Presley tries to tell him once again that, like, okay, well, there's no reason that your business and Ty's can't like exist at the same time, so stop messing with our friends. And I honestly really loved how Presley stood up to him like that. I was like, yeah, Presley, you tell him to stop messing with your friend. Like, I really, really appreciated that. I really appreciated how she stood up for Ty in that moment. But of course, Jagged being Jagged, he didn't listen, and he was like, I could do that, or I could keep messing with him. Let me think which one I like more. I keep messing. And the way he does that is so funny. Like, again, you have to probably like actually see this to notice how funny it is. Like, you probably have to see like the actor who plays Jagged and just the way he delivers his lines and the way his facial expressions and everything, because I think that that's what kind of like truly, like, you know, that's where a lot of like the humor comes from when it comes to like what Jagged says. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course what he says is funny, but I think that just the actor is so good at playing him and so good at like giving the right expression when he is like playing his character, that's just what that makes it even better. And so I don't think any other actor could play Jagged. Like, I just do not think so. So I think the actor does an amazing job with Jagged's character. You know, again, Jagged is just like really rude, but you know, but again, it's like, I know some people wonder probably why he's my favorite character, because he's kind of rude and he's kind of mean, and it's like, again, the same reason why you like Jade from Victorious, because she's mean also sometimes, but it's like, but they're both good characters and they're both kind of like iconic in their own way, like, you know. And I think even Jagged is like, there are episodes like this one where it's like, okay, yeah, he's extra mean and he's extra rude, and there's other episodes where like, you know, he's not even really being mean to anyone. He's just more of like, he's just being, well, he's being weird, which is another aspect of like Jagged's character. He's kind of weird and kind of you know, just, yeah, like, but anyway, yeah, so, and then of course the ending scene, the very final scene, basically I'm kind of skipping a few parts in between because I'm mainly trying to focus on the comedy right now, and I'm gonna bring up one more thing. It was really, 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 really funny, and it was just basically that last little ending scene where they pull that prank on, where they pull pull another prank on Jagged, and they basically like lift him up in the air with that drone and put him on top of the Space Needle. I was just like laughing so hard, and it's just like, wow. That was so funny because, like, you know, and poor Alan though. I mean, like, Alan was already injured, and then Jagged comes in there super mad. Like, Alan tries to tell him the good news about, hey, the doctor said like the injuries won't leave any permanent damage, and then all of a sudden like Jagged comes in there and says, get out of my way, and pushes him on the ground. I was just like, whoa, like, poor Alan. I was just like, wow. But like, you know, he's mad now, like, and yeah, he was really mad when he was like, when he went up to Presley and Lex and Munchie, and it was like, hey, I want my bicycle back, and it's just so funny, that moment, and then that's when, like, when they're trying to like, when Lex is trying to like talk into like that little like walkie-talkie thing that they were using in earlier in the episode, which I'm going to get into the other part of the episode, like basically the part that I kind of skipped over, but basically like but she talks into this walkie-talkie when Jagged is distracted talking to Presley, and Lex tells, like, basically she's basically like talking to Fisher and Ronald, who is gonna pull the prank and like lift up Jagged with the drone. So she lets him know that you know, Jagged is there, but she uses like that spy talk, and she says like, the spoiled milk is in the fridge. And I was just laughing because, like, wait a minute, is Jagged supposed to be the spoiled milk, and is the fridge the micro movie? Because that's just so funny. But yeah, that whole ending scene was just so it was just so funny, and I can't believe they pulled that off. I mean, like, but honestly, Jagged totally got what he deserved there. Like, I really like Jagged's character, but he did deserve to get pranked back. Now, the only thing I will say is that, I don't know, I do think it's a little bit risky to, like, you know, to do that kind of prank, because imagine if something would have went wrong with that drone while like they were like while it was carrying like Jagged all the way up in the air, all the way to the top of the Space Needle. Like, something could have easily happened, by the way, like to where like, you know, Jagged could have ended up falling, and that would have been really terrible. But of course that's me thinking too much about it. But really, he did deserve to get pranked back. And again, since he didn't get hurt or anything, you know, I guess it's fine, right? And it was so funny too. So yeah. But honestly, that's what I mean. Like, there's just so many funny moments. This whole episode is just filled with funny moments. There are even some that I didn't mention, but it's just like the humor was like on point in this episode. Like, y'all can't deny that. Like, and here's the thing, this is coming from someone that's not even like exactly like the target audience for this show, because like I'm a little bit older than probably like most of the fans, I think. And so it's just like, this is coming from someone a little bit older, that's like, I actually can really enjoy the humor. Like, and that says a lot. That says a lot when anyone can like watch a show and laugh. Like, that says a lot about like how good the humor is. You know, it's like how, you know, like the Disney and Pixar movies, like everyone enjoys those because like, you know, because they're funny, right? And you know, and they have good stories, and I think it's just, you know, and but honestly, I actually enjoy this show way more than any Pixar movie, though. Like, that's how much I love this show. But I know people will probably look at me like I'm crazy for saying that. Like, okay, are you kidding me? Disney Pixar movies are way better. But no, I actually prefer. Well, everything is subjective, right? I think everything is subjective. Nothing is truly better than the other. It's just what you like more. Like, personally for me, I'm not even a big movie person. I prefer TV shows anyway. So like, maybe if Disney and Pixar are maybe making TV shows, that would be, maybe it would be a little bit of a different discussion, but actually probably not. Like, I probably would still choose Side Hustle over like a TV show made by Disney and Pixar. But like, but since Disney and Pixar mainly makes the movies, right? I'm not even a big movie person. I prefer TV shows over movies. And so, yeah, so I honestly say that Side Hustle is even better. But I was just bringing that up to say that, like, you know, to say that the humor of this show is just, I'm saying that, like, it's something that, like, I think anyone can laugh at. Like, you know, I think that honestly means that it's pretty funny. Like, you know, if it's not only if not only your target audience finds it funny, but if people outside of that audience can find it funny and laugh and find it enjoyable too, then, you know, then that's pretty good. That's pretty good, actually. So, yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, the humor is just absolutely incredible. And yeah. And so that was like my favorite part of the episode. And I think that honestly, it made sense that this episode was so funny just because of the theme of it and like, and everything like that. And I honestly love the whole theme of this episode. I always thought that there should be an episode where Jagged was pranking someone. Now, granted, I had an idea where it was like Halloween pranks that he was doing. Like, I had this idea where, you know, maybe Jagged was trying to scare Lex Presley and Munchie, but like it wasn't working at first. And they were telling Jagged that like he's not scary. So then that's when Jagged vows to go out of his way to scare the three of them. And he actually maybe manages to do it, you know, at the end, and like just completely scares them with like this crazy Halloween prank. And I could totally see Jagged going too far with it and just like, you know, like really just, I don't know, I could just, yeah. But even though I had like in my mind, even though I was thinking more about like Halloween pranks, I still honestly am just so happy that we just got to see Jagged pranking somebody, because I think it fits his character and it makes sense. So yeah. But anyway, the humor wasn't the only good thing about this episode. Another good thing was, I honestly really thought I just really liked how this episode had that whole like spy scene aspect of it, like that whole spy scene and that whole spy aspect of it, like when they were bringing Munchie down to try and like, you know, attach the drone to the bike. He was sneaking inside the fence where the bike was located, and you know, I thought all that was super cool. And then it got even like, and then it was even more amazing. Like, of course, I feel bad for Munchie, but honestly, that scene where he got stuck on top of the Space Needle, it was like, I just honestly thought like, wow, like I was just like, oh my goodness, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. I'm so interested in seeing how they're gonna rescue Munchie, right? Like I was just waiting to find out what was going to happen. And so you know, so honestly Isaiah did such a good job acting as Munchie in that episode, because I think that this is like a little bit different from Munchie's character. Like Munchie is more of like a carefree character, he's more happy. Of course we've seen him scared before, but like nothing like this, where he's all the way, where he's being like lifted up all the way on top of this like huge building and doesn't know if he's gonna get down, and you know, and so the emotion that like that the actor like really puts into those scenes is incredible. So really great job to Isaiah there for just really doing such a great job of that scene, because I think it was like, here's the thing, if I can notice how like, if I can like, I think it was like, because usually I kind of always think that like I am not like too picky about the acting. Like there have been times when people say like, oh, someone's a bad actor, and I'm like, you know, I don't see it. Like I think they're pretty good at acting, you know, like, so I'm not the person that like, I'm not the person to like be like, I'm not the person that usually like notices the acting very much. So like when I start actually realizing that, hey, this acting is actually really good, when I start paying attention more to the acting, then that's when I know that it's like a really good job. So yeah. And then finally one of the biggest parts of this episode that made it so great was just how Lex Presley and Munchie were just so dedicated to fixing their friendship with Ty. It was incredible. Like the fact that they were willing to like, the fact that first of all they cared so much about whether or not he like cared so much about the fact that he was upset at them. I really related to that, because I don't like having anyone upset at me either, and I don't want to upset anyone that I care about. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. And so seeing those characters, seeing like Lex and Presley and Munchie being so worried about that and being so concerned about the fact that they might have made made Ty upset, I could relate to that, and I could really relate to that. And I just really appreciate how they tried so hard to make it up with Ty. The fact that they vowed to prank Jagged back, and knew, like they brought it up, like Presley brought it up about how their lives will be miserable probably once they prank Jagged, because Jagged just won't let them live that down. But then that's when Lex was like, well, this is for Ty, and fixing our friendship with him is more than anything Jagged can throw at us. And I'm like, that's like a huge sacrifice, right? That's a huge sacrifice. And so because Jagged is like, yeah, you don't want to mess with Jagged when he's really mad. And so the fact that they're willing to have Jagged be so mad at them shows that they just really like these characters. Like I already found the friendship between Lex Presley and Munchie just so amazing and so strong already, but then like now to see them caring so much about Ty as well, it's just it just is amazing. Like it's just so amazing to see that. Oh, I actually forgot about one funny moment that I really wanted to mention too. I mentioned it in like my longer review, but this is like in my longer review of this video, but I want to try to put as much as possible into this shorter review while also making sure that the review doesn't go on forever and ever like the other one did. So basically there was like that moment when they were trying to figure out what they're gonna do to make things right with Ty. That's when they figured that they should go ahead and prank Ty, right? And so then Presley suggests like, oh yeah, we should set his blender bike on fire. And then that's when Munchie is like, we're really good at accidentally exploding things. I wonder what we could do if we tried. And that was just so funny, because it's like I really like these references to how they exploded a boat and they exploded a dune buggy, and I really like how they poke fun of themselves like that, and just like, you know, yeah. And honestly, I don't want to imagine what would happen if they actually tried, like if they were able to destroy 2 vehicles with fireworks by accident. Like if they would actually try to do something, they would probably end up like burning down the whole neighborhood. So I don't want to actually imagine what would happen. But that was just another funny moment. That was just another one of the jokes in this show that show how like clever and just fun the humor is. And just yeah. So anyway, going back to the friendship, yeah, and I love that heartwarming scene with Ty and Presley and Lex, where they have to go to him for help because they need his hot air balloon to rescue Munchie. And that moment when they apologize and and they tell him that, and they really truly tell him that they're sorry, and and you could totally tell in that moment they're just so worried about, they really didn't want to bother Ty. They really didn't want to have to ask Ty for anything because they know that they messed up, and they were so worried, like, they were so worried about having to do that. But then I love that moment when Ty told them, like, of course I'll help you, like, even though I'm mad, we're still friends. I'm so happy he told them that, because you could tell that Lex and Presley and even Munchie, like, they were so worried about, like, the fact that maybe Ty wouldn't even be their friend anymore. Like, and I think it's so easy to think that if someone's mad at you or you have a disagreement, that might mean that they don't care about you anymore. But that's not true. Like, if a person really cares about you, of course sometimes there'll be those moments where they get a little mad, maybe you hurt their feelings by accident, and it's just kind of like, that's gonna happen because we all make mistakes and we're all human. And I think, again, sometimes it's really hard to understand this, but just because someone might be a little mad at you, just because you have a disagreement, if you're truly friends with someone, that wouldn't mean the end of your friendship or whatever. So I'm really glad that was brought up, and I just love that whole moment. And I love the whole ending moment too, at the very end, where they include Ty and their little, like, it's not a handshake, but their little thing that they like to do, that thing where they go like boop 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 boop. I can't do what they do, but yeah, but that thing basically, when they're all like, I want to call it a handshake, but it's not a handshake, it's just one of those like best friend things that you do. I don't know. So anyway, yeah, so I thought the friendship moments in this were absolutely incredible, and I think that these characters just constantly, like, all the time in this show, like, show what true friendship is about. And the show this episode just really had a great message too, of like, about how important it is to make things right when you mess up, and especially when you make a mistake with one of your friends, and to make sure that you try to fix that as soon as possible, that you don't try to just sweep things under the rug, but rather you try to fix it and you try to make it right. Of course, maybe, Lex and Presley, of course, they didn't go about it in the completely right way, but like Ty said at the end, he was secretly hoping they would get back at Ty anyway, get back at Jagged anyway, even though he told them not to. So yeah, I guess maybe they did do the right thing. So yeah, overall this episode was just, yeah, it was incredible. But first, of course, someone will there is supposed to be a section where I talk about, I'm trying to do a section in this review where I do talk about, like, I do talk about the parts of it that I dislike or things that I would do differently. And here's the thing, there's absolutely nothing I dislike about this episode. It is perfect. However, I do have a little bit of like an alternative idea for the episode though, because when I was watching this episode, I was kind of thinking that, and I kind of thought that maybe they should have had Jagged realize that Munchie was on top of the Space Needle. Like, even though Jagged is kind of mean, it has been shown that he cares about his brother, and perhaps seeing his brother in danger would have been enough to get Jagged to stop with the prank war against Ty. But other than that, there's nothing that I would have changed. Like I said, this episode is perfect. So, so yeah, like, because I kind of thought though, I was thinking that, well, maybe they might actually have Jagged see Munchie up there, or realize that Munchie is up there, and then maybe that would be enough to stop him, because like I said, I think that Jagged does really care about, like, his brother, and so I think that would be the one thing that maybe could snap Jagged out of just, being so stubborn and being so ridiculous, and And so yeah, but of course the episode didn't go in that direction, but in a way I feel like that it makes a little bit of sense why I didn't go in that direction, because I think that there was already so much going on with there was already so much going on in this episode. There was already so much with Ty and Lex and Presley and Munchie and the friendship that they have. And I feel like that's also at the same time add in this moment that would be another and to also add in this moment where Jagged would basically, I think it would just maybe make, I don't know, I guess it would just kind of I don't know. I don't know. I think it just, I guess it would have just made it, I guess there would have just been too much going on, I guess. So yeah, but it was just, of course, it's just a suggestion, because again, like I said, I'm okay that it didn't turn out that way, because like I said, this episode is perfect to me, and there's really nothing I dislike about it. So yeah, but overall I thought this was a fantastic episode. It was just y'all have to watch this episode. I would suggest, this is actually the first episode that if I was showing someone, if I wanted to get someone into this show, this is one of the first episodes I would show them. I would probably show this episode to them. I might even consider showing this episode to them. Well, maybe I would show them the pilot episode, but then right after I would show them this episode, and just because I think that truly this episode is so awesome. This episode truly showcases how amazing this show is. And there's a lot of other amazing episodes, but I think this episode really is just really, really, really special. And again, it's an episode that's just really it's not about whether or not they'll get to pay off their debt. It's not about something like that. It's not a super important episode, it's not we find out whether Lex and Luke are going to be able, whether Lex is going to be able to go out with Luke, in the way you look to, the way in the episode called The Way You Luke Tonight, where Lex was worried about, Lex was trying to just push down her feelings so she could just do the job for Tabitha, and and so that was a little bit more of an important episode per se, just because it was such a big development in the show, where where we just got to see how Lex was, how Presley and Munchie were gonna try to just make things right with try to help their friend Lex, and and yeah, it was just, it's not it was and it's not a super important episode how we find out what happens and at the end of Thumb and Thumber, right, and what that means for the characters, and and everything like that, and whether or not they'll get to pay off their debt. It's not super important like that, but just because it's, but honestly, but I think that this episode was just still so amazing, even though it didn't really have even though it wasn't even though this episode was just mainly I think you could tell this episode was just really supposed to just be about the fun and everything like that. It was just really supposed to be a fun episode, and it was just really supposed to make you laugh. And so yeah, but even with that, even with the fact that it wasn't you know what I mean, you know what I'm saying, right? It was just still so phenomenal. I know with the title Prank You Very Much, it might sound a bit silly, but this episode is just absolutely incredible to me. And actually I think the title Prank You Very Much is kind of clever, but I know some people probably will find it silly. So yeah, but this episode is just phenomenal. I can keep saying that over and over and over. I keep this episode just made me so happy, truly. This is one of those Side Hustle episodes that just really made me happy. I rewatched this one so much. I rewatched it and I haven't gotten bored of it. I didn't get bored of it when I was watching it. It made me so happy, and the show is just one of the few things that, maybe the only thing that's been really making me happy lately. And so I just really, really appreciate this. And of course, maybe I'm coming from a biased perspective, but I still think that this episode was just so good that I think that even people who might not enjoy this show, they might actually enjoy this episode. And so yeah, but obviously I don't want to keep this video going on too long because the other video went on for so long, and so I don't want to make the same mistake here. So yeah, so I'm going to just end the video here. Let me know what your thoughts are on this amazing episode. Like, what was your favorite part? Who was your favorite character in this episode? What was your favorite quote from the episode? Just everything like that. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you watched all of this, I really, really appreciate it. Please don't forget to love yourself and be kind to everyone. I hope you have a great day, and please remember to take care of yourself and your health. Bye.